Let's talk about something completely different right now. Yesterday we saw a second coronation for King Charles and Queen Camilla, this time in Scotland. And of course we did see more protests by the Republic group, the Anti-Monarchy group. And we saw two eco-protesters actually arrested for trying to climb over a crowd safety barrier on the Royal Mile. This is the eco group, This Is Rigged. They've got Hannah Bride and Imogen Robertson. Of course they were. And they were stopped by police outside St Giles Cathedral while wearing kilts with their slogan emblazoned on the back. But let's talk to Graham Smith. They carried out a peaceful protest outside the ceremony there, and he's the CEO of Republic. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Julia.
Thank you very much indeed for joining us. I mean, a lot of people will read there were protests outside this event, and it would involve your people again and again. Actually, though, your campaign group, you have peaceful protests. Other people do disruptive things. They get arrested, and everyone blames your group. But it wasn't your group that had any arrests, was it?
No, it wasn't. I mean, there were 4 people that were in our protest that were arrested later in the day, but they were released fairly quickly. I think that was just someone being overzealous, but that was dealt with. But on the whole, the police up here in Edinburgh have been pretty good. And, you know, our protests are always peaceful, so we never give anybody any reason to arrest us.
Well, that's the thing. And we saw
the coronation.
A very big outcry over the original coronation in Westminster when your protest group, when you were arrested early that morning. I mean, I was contacting the Home Secretary and others that morning. I thought it was such an outrageous thing that peaceful protest is a vital part of our democracy, and that I knew what you were planning to do. You were very clear. You were very clear where you were going to be. You've been speaking to the police for months about where you were allowed to stand, what you were going to do, so there would be no surprises at the time. But because of the threat from eco-activists, they use it as an excuse to arrest you. You were kept in a police station for what, some 12+ hours. You and a number of others.
Hours, yep.
Yeah. What actually has ended up happening there? Have there been any developments? Are you taking any action against the police?
Yeah, I mean, our lawyers are still working on that, so that we will be suing them, but it takes quite a bit of time to sort of go through all the information. I mean, there were 8 of us in the end that were arrested, so there's quite a lot of information we need to get through and get statements and so on. So we are pursuing that. We're also still trying to get some of our equipment off the police in London. They confiscated a number of things. I think they've got about £1,000 worth of our gear that they still haven't given back to us. So we are continuing to pursue that as well, because that was also taken from us without any good reason.
Indeed. I mean, there are a lot of my audience will be saying, for goodness sake, serves you, why are you bothering to protest? You've got a minority view, Graham. People don't want you there. Why do you bother turning up when other people want to have a nice day, cheering on the King and Queen that they love and they welcome? And why do you bother turning up?
Well, it's a political issue, and the minority view is also being enthusiastic about the royals. I mean, only 9% were enthusiastic about the coronation, so that's also a minority view. And obviously with politics and with campaigning and protest, it's about moving that opinion in our favour. So it's about making sure that we're challenging this and that we don't allow it to look like it's a universally loved institution. And we want to make it very clear that this is an institution that's not fit for purpose, that is, you know, I think I've said before here, and I've said elsewhere, it's corrupt in the sense that they abuse public office for their own personal gain. It's unprincipled, it's bad for our democracy, and we want to get those messages across.
And it is interesting, there has been a big change over the years, and of course, and you and I discussed this, I think, many years ago, that actually there was so much love and respect for the Queen, and even I, you know, I've been a lifelong Republican as well, but huge respect for how the Queen's carried out her public duties, and I think a lot of people do feel that way, that people thought things would change once King Charles came to the throne. But of course, the poll ratings go up when there's nothing but positive coverage. And I've always been of the view that if you're going to be in the public light, you know, you should be under the same scrutiny. I mean, if royal reporters scrutinise the royals in the same way, and I'm not just tittle-tattle about who said what to Meghan, but scrutinise the royal family in the way that we scrutinise politicians as political journalists, there would be a very different view in this country.
I mean, that's exactly our view, really, is that they should, as a rule of thumb, we treat the royals as if they are politicians, the same sort of scrutiny. And we would ask, particularly broadcasters, the big TV broadcasters really need to lift their game in terms of doing that. There's quite a bit of scrutiny in some of the newspapers. And just recently, over the last few months, The Guardian and The Times have been doing quite a lot. But the broadcasters don't really pick it up and run with it. And and the royals really avoid it. They don't do the interviews, apart from Andrew, who did that awful
You've
interview.
learned that lesson.
Why not get Charles in and start asking these things and what they're doing? So,
well, I'd like to ask the King about big bags, because Harrods carrier bags of cash.
Well, exactly. I mean, we do. One of the things we were doing on these protests is asking him these questions, trying to see if we might provoke an answer, but we never do, because he doesn't think he owes us any answers. But yeah, so it is there are lots of serious questions about the way that they run the monarchy and the institution of the royal household. Lots of serious questions that would get MPs into lots of serious trouble.
Oh, absolutely. And we know MPs know about serious trouble. Graham, we'll have to leave it there. Graham Smith, CEO of Republic, the anti-monarchy group. Thank you so much for joining us.